Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. We are so excited to have you here with us today for our webinar where we're going to be talking about groups in Breeze. Everyone, sound off in the chat your most excited sentiments because this has been something that we know you guys have been asking about for ages. And so we're really excited to come to you today with like a demo of the product, talk about it, let you guys ask all of your questions. But before we jump in, I see everyone already responding with where they're tuning in from because they know that's my thing. If you've been in a webinar with me before, I want to know where you guys are at. So that's so cool that you guys are already messaging. But I see we've got people on the East Coast. We've got people, let's see, we've got people in Savannah, Georgia. I'm sure wherever you are in Savannah, Georgia, that it's hot and humid. So I'm sorry about that.
I've seen a lot of Illinois love from someone from Illinois. Love to see that.
Nice, nice.
Florida.
I also see someone in Seattle, Washington. I would like to say that you guys have good weather right now, but it's Seattle, so there's really no way to know. You could be getting dumped on with rain, or it could be the most beautiful sunshine. There's really no way to know. But anyway, it looks like we've got a decent amount of people in here, so we'll go ahead and jump in. But again, if you're just joining us, today we're going to be talking about groups within Breeze. We're super excited to share this with you guys today. Also, to just jump off the back, because I saw a question. You guys will get the recording of this after this is done. So anyone who has registered, that email that you used to sign up, a recording will be sent to you guys with some additional details as well. So you will not have to remember every single detail that we shared today. We'll make sure that you guys are equipped with information after this. But we'll go ahead and hop right into things. So we've got a couple like really fun kind of sections of this webinar lined up for you guys today. As you can see, we've got the fireside chat where we're going to be having a really cool conversation with a special somebody, which we'll announce in a moment. We also are going to provide you with a live demo that's going to be walking through the product itself so you can see it real time and how it works. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A section. So most of you guys, I'm sure if you're joining, you've probably been in one of our webinars before, but I always say feel free to chat and communicate with one another. Give us like, that's so cool, some thumbs up in the chat while we're going through things. But if you have very specific questions relating what we're talking about today, make sure to submit that to the Q&A section. We'll be addressing those questions at the end of this webinar. So make sure that you're just throwing those in there and we'll do our best to circle back to them at the end. But before we jump into things, want to give us an opportunity to introduce ourselves. As you guys know, you are familiar with my face and my voice, so sorry about that. But my name is Mariah. If you guys, if we haven't met before, I'm a part of our product education team here at Tithely. So all of the Help Center articles, our webinars, Tithely University, all of that is kind of what our team oversees. And I've been at Tithely for a little over 3.5 years now, and I actually started in our support team and worked through a couple roles in between. But this is definitely my favorite. I love being able to just get on and talk to you guys and be the face of sharing fun things, even though I didn't do anything to build it. This was nothing that I did, but I like being able to share it with you guys. So yeah, just excited to be here and to meet you. Before I let the other people on here introduce themselves, I do want to make a call out to our customer engagement manager. She has just started with us recently, and her name is Anya. You might see her moving around in the chat, but just kind of wanted to shout her out. She is kind of going to be the face and the voice of you guys as the customer moving forward. And so just wanted to introduce her, get familiar with her name because she's going to be around a lot, and we love her so much. So if you see her, give her a thumbs up in the chat, a heart in the chat. She's awesome. But with that, I will go ahead and hand it over so that my other colleagues can introduce themselves.
Yes, hi, Mariah. Thank you. I'm so excited everyone's here. I love seeing that count come up and everyone updating in the chat. I am Danielle G. I am the product manager over church management, a lot of your Breeze sections, notably groups. That's why we're here. I've been at Tithely for about 2.5 years, and I've got to work on some pretty cool projects, but groups has definitely been the nearest and dearest and most fun one. All right, Les.
Yeah, hey there. My name's Les. I recognize so many names in the chat, so it's really cool to be here with so many people I recognize. And again, just thankful to be on here and join with y'all. But I work in technical solutions where basically I try to know the product very well and then address anytime there's a bug that comes up in the product, try to find workarounds for us, and then get that ultimately resolved for us.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Love having you guys here. And you guys, those who are joining us and watching, so excited. We're going to learn so much. And I'm stoked for this. So we will go ahead now and hop into our fireside chat. So I will pass it off to you guys.
Yeah, and I want to give a warm welcome as well to a little drum roll here. Blair. Blair is joining us from the UU Church of Bloomington, and Blair, I will stop taking all the fun as well. If you want to introduce a little bit of you, of where you're from, as you see with the chat, I know so many different folks coming around here, but yeah, just give an introduction of yourself, and then we can hop on in.
Yeah, I'm Blair. I'm the office manager at the UU Church of Bloomington Normal. So that's really exciting. And I'm really excited to talk about groups because it's actually been really awesome for us. So,
yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. Well, with that, yeah, we can hop in here. Blair, I'm wondering first off, I know you've mentioned, we were talking a little bit before hopping on here, how this has been helpful for you. And it sounds timely as well. In the meantime, though, how are you using groups on a day to day?
It's really one of the cool things is that you can label leaders in the group. So when you create the different groups that are at the church, you then can just message all the leaders with like an update or something like that, or like for us, like we've used it for key codes and stuff like that, like just to let them all know if there's been a change. And yeah, it's just been really nice to have all that information in one place.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the ability to contact all the leaders, like you said,
Yeah.
something we're looking forward to as well. I'm happy you like that. So I guess that's something you might say you enjoyed the most. Was there a moment, say, in the rollout, was there a moment where like groups clicked for you or for the team where there was, oh, okay, I could really see us utilizing this feature on a regular basis, and just walk us through what that moment was like.
Oh, I mean, it was really exciting when my coworker realized that because there's so many different like kind of heads of like people staff that kind of works with the different groups, but like they aren't part of it. So a great example of that is like adult choir. Like it's important to know that people are in adult choir because of the times that they practice. You don't want to ask somebody to be part of something if they're already doing something at that time, but there's no way to really know that, like know who's in what. And so the cool thing is like you can see it on their profile. You can see what groups people are in. And so that was like the thing that was like, wow, that's going to be really useful. Or if I need to know for like childcare, like when we need to provide childcare for what groups, that's been really cool.
Yeah, it's almost how those groups, how they overlap with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I got to tuck that in the back of my brain. Actually, I like that. And do you have any pieces of advice maybe for ministries who are just getting started using groups? What? Yeah, I'll leave it open ended like that. What's a piece of advice that you might have for some churches who are just seeing it and getting familiar?
I think really trying to get people to buy into it and really use it because it makes it a lot simpler, because a lot of times somebody will call the office and say, "Hey, I moved." But they don't tell the people in the group, or I got a new phone number, and they
Mm,
don't tell everybody in the group. Well, if I change it in the database and you're using groups to email or you're using groups to contact people, it makes it really easy that everybody has that same contact information. So just one person has to find out that their phone number changed or that their email changed. You don't have to tell 17 people to get it done. So that makes a huge difference.
yeah, I like that call out. And always, I love a good making sure data is clean. Love
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So, final question here, not to put you on the spot, but let's say you're given a magic wand
Mm-hmm.
and there's something that you could change with the feature moving forward. What's something that maybe, I mean, having product on here, Danielle, what is something that you might want to see incorporated in the future? What are some changes that you might want to see happening with groups?
I would like to, if you could see on their profile, not only that they were a part of a group, but that they're the leader of a group, that would be super useful,
Oh, yeah.
because it's the one thing that we've kind of been using it unofficially for is if we want to use, if the nominating committee wants to put somebody on the board or something like that, knowing that they're a part of a group is important, but knowing that they're a leader of a group is even more important. So just to kind of look at time commitments.
Yeah, that's a great call out. I love that. Danielle, we're just getting you some ammo then, I'd say. But yeah, Blair, thank you for your time here. Is there anything else maybe I didn't ask either that you just want to comment on groups? Or also, I guess in that I'm putting you on the spot a second time here. But if there's nothing, that's all right as well.
I think, I mean, the big thing is just that so the right hand knows what the left hand is doing. That's like my favorite thing about it, is that everybody can enter their own information, enter new people in their groups, and then kind of separately, and then that information is shared, like that we all are able to know. Like if we have a severe weather issue, it's like I can send that email. I don't have to wait till I get in touch with the person who's head of the group and blah blah blah. Like I can just send out that like we just had these storms and we had to contact the people, because you can also tie it to events on the calendar, and so you can see that, like, oh, these are the people who are likely to be attending that event, and then you can let them know without having to send out a church-wide email. Like you can just send it to the people that it needs to go to, that there's going to be a severe weather thing, and that, you know, if you don't have RSVPs for an event.
Oh, great. Hey, that's yeah, I mean, and anytime severe weather, I mean, summer storms, or even, I don't want to count down too early, but of course winter coming. So
Yes.
great call outs here. Yeah, I see a lot of use cases there where we could apply this information. So thank you, Blair, for your time here. We could all like throw some clap emojis maybe in the chat, or just some thank yous. Really appreciate your time and being on here. And with that, I mean, I'm just yapping at you here. I'd say, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Danielle. Give a view of what groups looks like if this is maybe your first time hopping into it.
Thank you. Thank you. Some of those things Blair pointed out, you're actually going to see on the demo today. So it sounds like she's ready to run the demo for us. But I'm so excited to see everyone here. I've seen lots of great questions in the chat. Can't wait to answer some of those afterwards in the Q&A. But I do just kind of want to highlight why this is the best season to talk about this and how we got here. So it is the end of August, which is kind of prime time for a lot of you guys, rolling into the small group season. So the hope is after this webinar, you feel confident, you're ready to set up those small groups and go into that season very confidently. I do see a lot of questions in here about tags versus groups, and I'm definitely going to be showing some of that in the demo and then also answering some of that in the QA. But one thing you will see is anyone using tags, you are halfway to setting up groups. Basically, tags rolls into groups and makes it super easy to populate your membership. So that being said, I'm excited to go ahead and show you groups. Mariah, if you'll go ahead and turn the demo screen on and show how this is going to benefit you and help you transition from tags to groups. As you can see, I am on the groups dashboard now, and I just want to highlight some kind of housekeeping things here. One is navigation here. Groups is in the top navigation menu. This is going to show for any Breeze organizations that have migrated their billing. So I'm in an organization that has already migrated its billing, but if you have not migrated to Tithely billing yet, it is right on the extensions page, a click to migrate, and then we do have help articles to assist with that as well. So once that migration is complete, you will see groups in the navigation. Permissions. Anyone that had tags permissions also has groups permissions. If you can manage tags, you can manage groups, but this can, of course, always be updated by administration right in the users and roles section. So if you need to update any of those permissions or grant permissions to anyone new that maybe didn't previously have tags permissions. The last permission piece I want to touch on, some of you also have a church app, and this may be the first time that you're having members engage with your church app and engage with your application. And I just want to assure you, it is completely safe. They're only going to see in the church app groups that you have set to be seen in the church app. They're not going to see giving. They're not going to see people profile data. We have a member role that is very strict that will not allow them to see anything they should not be seeing. So now, dropping into the groups dashboard. For fun, kind of post in here how many small groups you guys run. How many groups are we thinking we're going to be creating for small group season? Love to see some variety there. For here, we have 4, 13, 22. Wow. So this will be a great function for some of you with a lot of groups, especially that 22. So you can, of course, search by group name. So if you had a lot of groups, easily find the group you want to manage. And then you'll see in here icons for the groups, names for the groups. These little parentheses indicate how many members are already in the groups, frequency, so how often they're meeting, and where they're meeting. And then you also have some contact information available here. So you can select all your groups, just one of your groups. And this is a great example like Blair had mentioned. In Contact Selected, you can contact just group leaders, or you can contact all group members. So perhaps you're an organization that utilizes Church App. Most of your engagement for group members is happening in the Church App in the chat, but you're an administrator who needs to contact your group leaders. If you click in here, you can text or email them, and you'll see these are the same text and email functions that you have in, for example, Breeze People. So I'm going to go ahead and text my leaders and remind them that background checks are due and send that message. And then, of course, I could email as well. In an email, you can see the basic or the design editor, depending what your needs are. Now, let's start from scratch. Let's go ahead and create a new group. We're going to upload an icon for this group. This is going to be Tuesday Women's Study. And then you can set a status for the group. And this is the status that's going to interact with your Church App. So a group that is open is accepting new members, viewable in the app. And depending on if it's private or public, members can join or request to join. You can set a status to closed. It will still show in the app. It's still a functional group, but it won't be accepting any new members. And then you have a description area where you could put topics, any notes about food, anything like that. And this will pull into the Church App as well. So anyone who's searching for groups to join will be able to see that. And then we have our show in Church App functions, which you saw I just turned off. So for example, if this was a worship team or a choir or an internal team that you don't want to be in the app, you can go ahead and turn it off. But I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to set the frequency. They meet Tuesdays at 6 p.m. and they meet at Kathy's house. The frequency and location I put here are what's going to show in the Church App as well. And then you can decide if you want to enable the member chat or not. I'm going to go ahead and enable that. And then as I said earlier, you can set private or public. Private meaning they have to request to join and be approved by a leader, which you'll see that flow. Public meaning anyone in the app within your congregation can join. Here is where we're going to look at some tags. So I can automatically populate this membership from tags. So a lot of you that are utilizing tags in a way to be a workaround for small groups, this is going to easily incorporate and flush that over for you. So you see I have a Tuesday Women's Study tag. And here you'll see, create group with 4 members. So I had 4 members in that tag that I'm going to bring into this group. And let's go to the groups page. So here you see are my 4 members, Jane, Judy, Nicole, and Susan. And we'll come back here, but let's go ahead and look at tags really quick. Here's that Tuesday Women's Study. And then here are those members that I just brought over from the tag. Let's go back to Tuesday Women's Study. Before we dive into all of the members' functionality, I do want to quickly highlight the General tab. Here you'll see everything we just used to fill out to create this group. So if you need to change any settings after the fact, the group's closed, it was public, you want it to be private, you can change any of the settings here and it'll reflect in your Church App as well. Now we'll look at the members tag. You can see how many members are here. So perhaps you have really big groups, you can see how many members. Search members if you have a lot of members in a group as well. And then you'll see the members' names, emails, phone numbers, and addresses. So for example, as Blair highlighted, if this is updated on their profile, it trickles down to the group. Also, as Blair highlighted, groups are on their profiles. So let's go to Jane Jetson. Providing you have the right permissions to see this section, on the people profile, you can see a groups tab and then any groups they're part of. So she's part of Tuesday Women's Study. That meets Tuesdays at 6 p.m. And let's go back to our group. You can also manage the membership here from an administrator standpoint or a team leader or group leader standpoint. So let me go ahead and make a group leader. If you come to the person, you can remove for group or make a leader. and you'll see they get their little leader pill. If they need to become a regular member, you can make them a regular member as well. So Jane is now the leader of this group. She will have access to the groups tab and all the functionality I'm showing you, but just for groups she's a leader of. So she won't see any groups that she is not a leader of. From here, you have a lot of these same contact options you saw from the dashboard with a couple of key differences. So instead of being able to select leader or member, you would select your individual. So you could select all or select just the leader and then go through that same contact flow. Text, email, depending what your needs are. I did create this group from a tag, but if I needed to add additional members, I could search and add those as well. So perhaps they weren't in the tag, but now they're a new member that's going to join. And then I can also add from additional tags. So I may have a women's group tag and a Tuesday women's study, and I want to merge them all into this group. I can easily do that as well. Next, let's look at how this is integrated with events. So from here, we do have this create group event button. And I'm going to go ahead and create Tuesday women's study. And they're going to start meeting tomorrow. Oops, today's Tuesday. Let's have them start meeting today. They're going to meet at 6 p.m. today. Event repeats. And you can see the associated group here, Tuesday women's study. A cool thing here, now that you have this associated to the event, if I did set up check-in, I can limit to group members only. So that is a setting I can utilize for check-in now that that group is connected to this event. Let's go ahead and add that event series. And let's go ahead and open that event. Now, if I go to check-in, you will see just those 5 members from that group instead of seeing more than that in the people list. All right, let's go back to our groups. And we're going to look at this in the Church app so you can see how some of these fields are translating over to the Church app. So give me 1 second. I have a simulator set up so you can see what this would look like from the members experience. So here is our Church app. We are logged in as Jenny. And Jenny's already a member of one group. So she has your groups tab where she is a member of young adults. And here you can see which pulls from Breeze. They meet Thursday at 7 p.m. and they meet in the loft. If I had a description, that would pull through as well. If she was in a ton of groups, you can search the groups. So let's go ahead and look at young adults. I can see other members that have joined. I can see a list of members, and there's no leaders on this one, but if there were leaders, I'd be able to see the leader tag. And then if chat is enabled, I'll have access to the chat. I can see historical information from the last time they met on August 14th. And then I can add new information as well. Jenny's always running late. She's still running 5 minutes late. Now Jenny's going to look at all groups. I'm interested in joining some new groups. I'm going to go ahead and join a public group. So you can see newcomers class here. They meet Sunday at 9 in room 201. I'm going to go ahead and join that public group. I have joined newcomers class. I'm going to request to join this private group, breakfast. So you can see pending approval. Now let's go ahead and look at this from the leader perspective, now that you just saw what this looks like from the member perspective. So now we are logged in as Jonathan. And you can see Jonathan has some notifications up here. In the bell, we have Jenny who wants to join breakfast. And as the leader of this group, I can ignore or accept it. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. And then you can also see that I have a chat notification. So just Jenny letting us know she's running 5 minutes late again. So I went ahead and added Jenny to the breakfast group. Let's go ahead and welcome her in the chat. Welcome back, Jenny. All right, and then let's go back and look at the member experience here. So we're going back to Jenny. You can see on Jenny's groups, here's that newcomers class that she joined that was public. And then you can see breakfast, which was that private group she requested to join. So she's been approved. It's appearing in your groups. In all groups, I can see joined. And then I also have a message notification welcoming me back to the group. So just to recap some of the things we saw here, we saw the groups dashboard. We saw how we can manage groups within the groups dashboard, how we can manage membership from the administrative or the team leader perspective. And then we also saw how this interacts with our church app and how the chat function works, so we can have that member engagement piece as well. So my hope is that this gives you guys the confidence you need to be able to set these groups up and be ready for the small group season. And like I said, if you're using tags, you're already halfway there. It's super easy to populate the membership. We are getting ready to go into our Q&A shortly here, but we are going to put a poll as well out. So please, if you can access the poll section, and Mariah, let me know if we need to kind of instruct where the polls are. Fill that poll out as well regarding the webinar so far. All right, going to hand it off to Les.
All right. Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate that. Yeah, great run through of groups here. And I just want to call out as well, we have an upcoming event. If you are around the Cincinnati area, you can scan this little QR code we have in the top right corner of your screen. Those are some options for you. We would love to see your face, have some in-person to person connection coming up. Again, that is Cincinnati. The date on that, we've got Thursday, August 27th, the afternoon into evening hours. And again, we have a QR code there if you're around Cincinnati. Even like Kentucky, I mean, not the same state, but you're probably within about 100 miles, depending on where you're at. So across state lines, even we'd be welcome to have you. But enough of the Cincinnati. I do want to make a special call out as well. If you're not around Cincinnati, as I know we are from all parts of the globe. I even saw some people from outside the U.S. who are joining us. Depending on what hour it is, I say welcome to you. But everyone attending will receive post-webinar emails that include some exciting new opportunities on Breeze. So that's something to be excited about as well. Again, even if you are not around the Cincinnati area. So with that as well, I want to start talking about some Q&As. We have one more QR code. We are loving the QR codes, y'all. So you can scan this QR code. These are some frequently asked questions. I've really tried my hardest to keep up with the chat, but there is some lovely participation happening here. So thank you for all of the questions, all of the chatter that's happening. I know there was one question in particular often about like emails going to spam. Maybe that's like including with some invitations for people to join groups. So that's something that in the frequently asked questions, if we don't have it in that QR code, that goes to the Help Center. I believe it goes to the Help Center, so we could find it there. But I could also connect with you after this. All questions will be answered in one form or another, whether that's right here, right now, or whether that's in some follow-ups. So yeah, with that, we can start taking some questions. I will pop over there now and just grab the first one that I see. Looking at members and push notifications for chats. So this is one that we say if you have members who are not receiving push notifications for chats, let's try to control all the variables we can there. Let's first make sure that the person's device is fully up to date, also that their church app is up to date. The member might need to also clear their app cache just to make sure that the update is coming through. So that's what we can control so far. If we're still seeing that members are not getting push notifications for those chats, we can put that up in a support ticket. I'd recommend reaching out to us, support@breezechms.com. There's also the little help widget bubble that is in Breeze. If you sign in, you can reach out to us via one of those paths. And then Danielle, if you want to take one as well, I'll get a few queued up here.
Yes, absolutely. I was looking for some trends. So I may answer a couple of these. I want to talk about the billing migration. So I did see some people ask if you had to purchase any Tithely products for groups. The answer is no. This is available to all Breeze customers. However, if you do want the additional member engagement pieces, such as the group chat which you saw, that is part of the church app. So you don't need to. You can utilize this just in Breeze, but for the additional member engagement pieces, we'll encourage you to purchase the Church app. But just for migrating billing, the only thing that is going to change is where your invoices come from. So they'll be coming from Tithely instead of Breeze, but that's really the only functional change if you go through the migrating step. And then, as I said earlier, especially Mariah, if you could maybe drop it in the chat if that's possible, we do have help articles to walk you through that migration as well.
I'm picking up on trends as well, Danielle. I'll mention here the difference between groups versus tags. So first off, we might be talking about two separate groups there. Some select people might be aware of Tithely tags. If you have not connected to Tithely before, you would just be familiar here, or I'm sorry, it would be Tithely groups versus Breeze groups. But Tithely groups was a past build. Breeze groups is replacing that feature. Now, why someone would have Breeze groups versus Breeze tags? The Breeze groups will help pair to the Tithely Church app. So, as Danielle was pointing out, with connecting to Tithely, we need to have a Tithely connected Breeze account in order to have groups. Once groups are launched and live, as you saw with Danielle, she was going into the Tithely Church app. So it's really the biggest difference that I like to think of right now is Breeze Tags operates more as that admin side. People would typically not have knowledge, perhaps even, that they might be in a tag, versus Breeze Groups is going to be something that is visible for members. They can freely join those groups in some cases if they are public. Even if they're private, they would be aware of that from, again, this would be more of a the Tithely Church app context. So I hope that gives a good, I guess to visualize with my hands here, the Breeze tags, that would be something that more admins would be in control of. The Breeze groups, that would be going into the Tithely Church app.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback a little bit on what Les is saying to kind of give a real life example as well. So, for example, you may have some tag automations. So maybe new members you put into a tag. They're not a small group. They don't meet. They don't need the member engagement pieces in the chat, but you do some organization and you may have some follow-ups or automations based on them being a new member. Maybe you have some drip campaigns you put them into, anything like that. That really starts from the tag section, being organization, conversation, communication. And then the member engagement piece is really for small groups that are meeting, and then they have the church app to have that deeper level.
Yeah, thank you for the extra context there, Danielle.
Absolutely. And I'll grab one. I think this may have been stated, but just to make it super clear, just because I understand the confusion, the app I'm showing is the church app, not the Breeze admin app. So the church app is where you will see the groups pieces from Breeze.
Definitely. Okay. I do want to call out, I saw one question. I'm scrolling past, I'm not able to find it now, but it was asking about adding media within group chats. That's something to keep an eye out on. I'll just leave it at that. Something to keep an eye on. And yeah, talking about notifications that's been mentioned already. There is no cost for chats. That is something that's included within the context of having Breeze. There is the mention, of course, if you're to use the Tithely Church app, that is separate from Breeze. So in that way, difference in cost. But utilizing groups is just a part of Breeze.
Just to kind of tag in on that media piece, I don't know if anyone here was part of our beta group, but really exciting is that is feedback that came out of our beta group. So that's feedback we get early, often, and able to action. So I know Les kind of lended an ear of keep your eyes peeled, but yeah, for anyone who's interested in future betas, that's kind of the exciting opportunity to be able to give feedback.
Also, I am if we've worked together, maybe I've brought this up. I am a security and identity and access management nerd at heart. Like I have a heart for security. Like Breeze users and roles just made me so impressed when I first started. Everyone's probably like, where is this guy going with this? I see a question from Lynn about handling people who don't want to share contact information. And I mean, ultimately, that is up to members, of course, how much they're to share. Uh, I I think it's something that you can bring up as, hey, you could just have access to all of our communications in a more timely manner. That is totally up to you, of course, as a member, if you want to be part of that. So that I think just giving context to people as to why we're asking for data can sometimes also lend um, the desire to grant that out, to trust us with that contact information.
I see one in here I am particularly excited about, and I think it may apply to a portion of you who are maybe utilizing Tithely groups right now. So maybe you have a Breeze subscription, but you're utilizing Tithely groups. I saw the question is specifically about Breeze people versus Tithely people. So very excited. Once you get this all set up, right on your groups tab, you're going to see a notification that says, do you want your app to look at Breeze instead of Tithely? You can make that switch right from the groups page. So if you're currently looking at Tithely people, Tithely groups, you can switch it over to look at Breeze people and Breeze groups.
Reading another one here. When I am logged into my app account, it doesn't see me as the same person as my Breeze profile. Uh, Bailey, let's please, if you could reach out to our support, would love to look further into that and just diagnose that one a little further. We could take a peek at that together. And then one from Todd, could groups be used for preschool families and those families not added into Breeze? Well, of course, from someone who's not added into Breeze, we would need to get or just some information on them, whether that's from like a check-in. I'm thinking of preschool. Maybe we can add the ability to add some family members or add some friends into the database from there. But then, yeah, absolutely. I recommend using groups in that context. You could have a preschool group, and of course, see where that goes from there. Maybe it also the chat continues in more ways where people are meeting up outside of uh, church, and then building deeper community from there. So I think that's a great use case, Todd.
I see a few comments about not seeing groups in the navigation. So I just want to highlight again, make sure your billing is migrated in the extensions page. So if it's not migrated, you'll see a banner at the top of extensions telling you to migrate your billing. That would be the first step in seeing groups in the navigation page. If you're still not seeing it, like I said, if you're someone with tags permissions, we've automatically generated the permissions for you for groups. Otherwise, you may need to have the permissions assigned in users and roles.
I'm seeing a question from Deidre. This is going off of the media question already. I would not recommend sending weekly newsletters in that space. I think this would be more of smaller media. Thinking of a group chat, just something that would be something that wouldn't be, say, like a PDF that we would then open up. That would be more of a larger context. I think this would be more smaller media context in that.
I see a few asking if tags is going away. No, as highlighted earlier, there are different use cases for tags than groups. So just because we have rolled out groups does not mean we're going to eliminate tags.
See one from Alex. Can a group have more than one leader? Yes. Yeah, you can have, in a group context, more than one leader, and that is up to you how many leaders you wish to have there. And then one from Greg mentioned being part of the beta group. Thank you, Greg, being part of the beta group there. Is there a planned update in the near future? We are hoping to iterate more so on this. Of course, this is something we're just releasing now. So that is, I'd say, to be coming, and just keep an eye on the space to see how groups continues to change.
Looking for some more questions, see if we have any more trends. See some questions about media. Keep your eyes peeled. I do see some questions about the email and text functionality in Breeze groups, so outside of the church app. Yes, that is another form of communication you can use. And then yes, SMS is going to go to the number they have on their people profile. Email is going to go to the email they have on their people profile. I think we covered this as well in the chat, but just in case, groups can have more than one leader. You can make them all leaders if you want. You can make as many leaders as you need to for the group.
Can people request to join groups within the Breeze app? Not in the context you're probably thinking. You could have a form that someone might have access to, but really we are going to be pointing towards the Tithely Church app for how those groups are coming over, for people are accessing groups. Say if these are public groups, someone would download the Tithely Church app, they would find your ministry, and from there go to groups, search for those public groups, and join. So I'd say based on most of the ways that you would join is to join groups from a member side through the Tithely Church app.
I'm going to set up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to mention from Gail, the Tithely Church app and Tithely app, those are two separate apps. It's a good call out. Tithely app, that is how members might be giving to your ministry. If you are using Tithely Giving, the Tithely Church app, that would be a separate app, those two. So again, that context might also matter depending on if you have been Breeze standalone. If you have been a Breeze standalone account, to Danielle's point, that's where you would want to migrate over to Tithely and then have the additional subscription of the Tithely Church app. So again, there's some context that might be with that, but I would recommend if you're using the Tithely app, also check out Tithely Church app if you have the app's subscription.
In line with that, I'm going to actually share my screen again. Mariah, fix it for me if I can't figure it out. But I do want to show you, I see some questions.
Would you mind, sorry, Danielle, would you mind sharing your screen again for us? It should be, yes. And then I'll pull it back. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. I do see some questions about groups not showing in the church app. So I'm going to go ahead and go to apps. So this is for you church app users to see the settings of how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the church app. As you can tell, I already had the app set up for this account. But in tabs, this is how you set all of the tabs that show in the bottom of your church app. Make sure you have users group as a visible tab. So if it's still in addable tabs, just go ahead and drag it up to more tabs or main tabs. That way it's going to be accessible by members in the app. So a setup step there, if that's maybe perhaps the reason you're not seeing groups within the church app.
Cool. And Danielle, while we're actually still here in your demo, I know you verbally kind of explained to us the difference between tags and groups, but I keep seeing that question. I think it might be helpful to visually see the difference because, again, tags are not going away. They're working in tandem. But if you could show us maybe how they work together, that would be super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll kind of call out the differences and how they work together. So, for example, I don't have a tag for new members, but that's a possibility that a lot of you do have a tag for new members and you're facilitating, for example, drip campaigns for your new members. That is something you would want to keep in tags. You don't really need a small group for them unless you are getting a group together and they can, conversate with each other and mingle. But if you're just doing it for a management perspective, that is something you keep in tags. But maybe historically, you've been using tags as a workaround for small groups and you're missing a lot of those pieces like events, check-in, sending those text messages. If you have the church app, putting them in the church app, that's when you'll want to use groups. And I'll go ahead and go to the add members for that group. That's how you can use tags to populate your groups. So for example, the one I showed you was Tuesday Women's Study, but you can select as many tags as you need to populate the groups, see the member count, and then automatically bring those tags over. So maybe you have 2 different tags that you need to merge into a group. That's an option as well to get that membership pre-populated. Anything else, Mariah, Connor, or Les, that you see in the questions that are good to re-show from here?
Yeah, let me keep looking and see if we hit all of them. I think you guys covered most of the trends. Let's see. Also, just to highlight again, in case anyone did not see the poll, let me know in the chat. It should still be live. It should still be launched. But if you're having difficulty seeing it or answering it, let me know. Yeah, I think Les, you kind of already touched on it, but just to reiterate again, could you explain the difference between the Breeze and the Tithely Church app? I know specifically I was seeing lots of questions. Do people need to have the Tithely Church app in order to utilize this group features within Breeze? I think those play hand in hand.
Yes. Yeah. So the Tithely Church app is going to be where your members are most often going to. I mean, when we think of the Breeze app, that's probably something that maybe you as an admin would utilize. That's so I at least like to think of the Breeze app as more admin facing, the Tithely Church app as members would go here. The Tithely Church app is where the groups will be held. That's in the context of today's meeting. If there's a takeaway, that is what I want the takeaway to be. The Breeze groups will be in the Tithely Church app, and this really just makes Breeze and Tithely more of a connected, unified product, and that is something that we've been really excited for. So, Breeze groups in the Tithely Church app. That's something that, again, on the Breeze side, you as the admin, you would be setting those groups, at least creating what they are, and especially if it's public, that's where a member would go into the Tithely Church app. They could then join that group and let the fun begin from there.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. I also see a question here as well. Someone just kind of summarizing a lot of what you guys have talked about, saying that is the main function for groups for members to be able to chat with each other. And if not, would using tags suffice? Essentially, like what's the benefit of using groups over tags? What's the main feature?
Yes, and Karen actually just put this in the chat very well to summarize it. Groups is more for people that interact with each other. Tags are communication devices for segments of certain people. So tags, organization, segmentation, groups, member engagement, member interaction.
Perfect. I think you guys have covered a lot of like the functionality. And again, I want to reiterate, we have a lot of questions that have been submitted. And so there's a likelihood that we don't get to every single one of them. But again, we are going to reach out to everyone who's joined us today with an email that's summarizing. So every question that's been asked, we will make sure it's answered. So I don't want anyone to walk away feeling like there's any confusion. But I do see, I think this is a good question, just something just to kind of steer away from a moment from the specific feature, is Lisa's asking how you would recommend promoting groups to the church body. I think that's a good question.
Yeah, I'll mention based on what Blair shared. I mean, the real life application of, say, if there's an emergency that's happening, what's a way that we can equip people to reach out to fellow group members, even outside of the context of just strictly on ministry grounds? Say if someone in the group really just needs a friend that day, we can reach out. It's the importance of those small groups that can be more interconnected, not just on a Sunday or not just on a designated Tuesday night, but just throughout the week, and just how we can encourage community. So that's at least what I would say. I really liked Blair's story of the unfortunate of a storm, but how the storm was able to make a communication process a little, it makes the situation a little less arduous.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, to kind of second what Les said, just same thing, start early if you're not in small group season yet. Get comfortable, play with it, get the setup down. That way, you can kind of be that teaching moment for other staff or volunteers that may need that hand-on-hand assistance.
Yeah, awesome. You guys can keep scrolling through as well. I'm scrolling trying to find trends that I'm addressing as many questions as I can at once.
Yeah, I'll add one here. Danielle and Meg were mentioning, I think there might have been some confusion created on Breeze People and integrating within Tithely apps. So in this context, I see where you're coming from here. The Tithely Church app is something that someone is in the database in Breeze, that's okay. And if they're not, that's okay as well. Members can find your ministry through the Tithely Church app, and they will be presented with a login dialog box where they could enter their email, enter their phone number. So that is how we're able to bring people into Breeze. That's if someone is already in Breeze. That's if they're not in Breeze. So there's not. Don't think of it as a one or two. Like, is my person here or there? The person is able to find the church app and they're in your database.
Perfect. And are you seeing any other questions, Danielle, that you'd like to cover now?
I think I got a lot of them that were kind of trending. But yeah, just to reiterate, you will not be left hanging, even if you don't hear your question answered here.
Yes.
We will get back to it.
Well, I think then, unless you guys have any other ones that you want to address, again, I know we keep saying it and we keep reiterating, but we want to make sure everyone knows that you're not walking away. If you didn't hear your question answered right now, we're compiling all the questions that you guys asked today, and we'll make sure that that is something that we circle back to in the follow-up email that all of you will receive with a recording of this, a transcript of this. Like, you'll get all the information you need. But I think for now, we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up here. If you guys do have any questions, the best way, like technical questions, I was seeing a lot of people reaching out about the fact that they don't see this feature. Danielle mentioned it with the billing migration, but if you're struggling to find that or you can't get to this, promise you we're not trying to promote something you guys don't have. Every Breeze user has access to this. If you're struggling to find it, the best way to reach out to our team is going to be via the chat widget that's found in the lower right-hand corner of your Breeze dashboard. Just reach out, let them know what you're needing, and our team will help you kind of get that migration set up so that you guys are all set. But other than that, we thank you guys so much for joining. We appreciate all your questions. And all of this is really just fuel for us to make the product as best as we can for you guys. Thank you so much to Danielle and Les for being here and giving us all of this helpful information, answering all of the awesome questions. So really appreciate you guys being a part of this. But as always, we will see you guys in the next one. We have another webinar coming up next month that's planned where we're going to talk about volunteers because we've been getting a lot of questions about that. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But with that, I think we'll let you guys have the rest of your day. And thanks so much again for joining us.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, everyone.